Tim Jago.
Oh,
Back in the
sorry.
news.
Convicted pedophile, Tim Jago?
Sex offender. Yeah, sex offender, I think is
Sex
the
offender,
correct.
convicted.
Yeah, we are allowed to say sex
Okay.
offender. It's in the headline and it is convicted, so it's not alleged.
Full title, Tim Jago, convicted sex offender, former National Party president.
Yep.
No,
that one.
sorry, not National Party. I got it wrong. I'll have to say it again.
Act.
Tim Jago, convicted sexual abuser and former ACT Party president. There we go. Got it. Cool. Lock it in.
Thankfully, it is not lost on the people, on the media, at least for stuff. Good on your stuff, doing the good stuff. Victim's parents question police shelving of probe into sex offender Tim Jago. So the apparently.
Oh, yikes.
Police shelve an investigation into a teenager's, or why did police shelve an investigation into a teenager's sex abuse allegations about former ACT Party president Tim Jago 25 years before he was eventually convicted? It's a question the survivor's parents want answered. Jago's brother is a senior detective, something the couple only learned when the ex-political figure stood trial last year.
What
While
the
there's nothing to
fuck?
suggest. Well, there's nothing to suggest he influenced the investigation into their sons in 1999. That was 9 years after. Complaint in any way. They're concerned about the relationship and want. Oh, maybe it was. Okay, 1999. Want to know how any potential conflict of interest was managed by police. Police say there was no conflict of interest. That Detective Inspector Jeff Jago, a veteran cop with more than 40 years' experience, played no part in the investigation, only learned of the historic allegation when his brother was charged in January 2023. They say the decision not to lay charges 25 years ago was made after a now retired detective senior sergeant with no connection to Jago considered a legal opinion from a police legal advisor and concluded the evidential sufficiency test had not been met. Yeah. Brian's mother told staff she wanted to know why the investigation into her son's initial complaint did not result in charges. Why was it swept under the table? I've never accepted that at all. She said she was concerned after learning Jago's brother was a police officer and wanted to know how police had dealt with a potential conflict of interest. If I knew Tim had a brother and he was a policeman, I would have questioned a lot of things because that just doesn't sit right.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so that's the general gist of things, and then there's some things that we kind of already knew about. This line definitely hit hard. Asked what state Brian was in, the victim. Jago said, paralytic. Didn't think to maybe check on the guy? Or alert someone that he had someone who was paralytic
Yikes.
on his bed? And thought, it's fine, I'm drunk, I'm going to sleep, instead of, maybe I should try and wake the guy. Is he okay? I guess it's a different culture now, but before you have your foo-foo, not that I'm trying to defend this in any way, but we do know historically sexual abuse was not handled well by the police, and we have definitely come a long way. Still not an excuse, but it does add context to perhaps why it wasn't pursued 25 years ago. But I'm glad that it has been fixed now. Sadly for the victims.
Well, better.
Better.
I mean, I think that the part of the story about whether there was a conflict of interest, I don't think anybody was. I don't think it's even like a case of like, oh, his brother shelved this probe, which is again is a terrible phrase if you know how other meanings for any of those words. I don't think it's a case of his brother swooping in and saving his investigation, but the police can be an old boys network. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a case of him going, hey, this is my brother, go easy on him. It can be investigating officers working out that this is the brother of someone in their club. And so maybe we'll make this go away. Now, I'm not saying that is what happened. There's no proof of that happening. But I'm just saying that his brother might not have had to do anything. And we, as you mentioned, we know from that time period the police were not good at this. It's hard enough now coming forward for an allegation like this to do that today, let alone 25 years ago. But I think it is very clear at this case at this time that this guy is either exceedingly lucky or has several layers of people at various times over the last 30 years covering for him.
Hmm.
Like, even if you leave the rumors of sexual assault out of it, the fact that he was sacked from Surf Lifesaving Club for financial impropriety and then became ACT Party president to the point where Seymour had to defend him. Like, that's fucked. That's fucked straight out of the gates. The fact that that certainly ACT's youth wing knew that Tim Jago was a sus character 5 years ago, and he was still put in charge of an investigation into that organization's misogynistic and rape culture. They put a sexual abuser in charge of that, of investigating how young people are treated. Like, that's fucked. Why is this not like, I don't care that David Seymour got engaged. Irrelevant. That story should be couched with, oh, did you know David Seymour got engaged? We asked him how many times he hung out with Tim Jago. We asked him while he was sitting next to his new fiance when he first found out. We asked him why, instead of going to the police when someone came to him the information, he tried to refer it to a law firm, an employment law firm run by his godmother. Why did he do that? Congratulations on the engagement, David. But if you could answer those questions, please. Oh, you're too busy going full mask off, Herald comment section racist at Waitangi. I wonder why. Why are your school dinners getting more airtime than your relationship with Tim Jago? Why? Why? Till the end of time.
Yep. I'm glad that there's still stuff coming out about this. There is an argument to be made that we're on a bit of a witch hunt for Seymour for this particular thing. I could be on a witch hunt for Seymour for a multitude of things. Grooming, for example, on Snapchat is one thing that they managed to just get away with. The reason that I think he is somewhat, if not quite, responsible for at least part of this, if not the culture that his party has been outed for, culture of misogyny and inappropriate sexual misconduct, I guess, of sorts, cultures. I decided to do a little bit of a deep dive to find out if there had been other controversies, scandals in the news in the last the last 10 years or so, 15 years, that people have been sacked for less. And they have. One of two. 8 New Zealand politicians who were forced to resign. An article from 2014. I specifically went for the ones that had the words sexual in it, just so we're talking about similar things. Number 1, Darren Hughes, 2011. Labour MP Darren Hughes resigned 2 days after it was revealed that he was subject to a complaint believed to be of a sexual nature from an 18-year-old student. Phil Goff announced Hughes' resignation, saying that the controversy around allegations made against him made it impossible to carry out his duties. A complaint, not a conviction, or not. Just a complaint. Richard Worth. He was an Epsom MP, by the way.
Epsom, the curse
Um,
electorate.
He was on an official trip, 2009. There were reports of a private trip to India promoting aviation training in New Zealand, and while having an interest in an academy. Later in the year, there were allegations he visited a taxi driver who had allegedly been attacked by a group, one of whom was the son of an acquaintance. The following month, there was a serious sexual allegation from an Auckland businesswoman. He resigned as cabinet minister, and a few weeks later, as a list MP. I went into politics to make a contribution to New Zealand. I can see that it's no longer possible for me to do that through politics, so I'm now choosing to follow another positive path. So he says.
He was never heard from again.
Yeah. The following month, there was a serious sexual allegation.
Yeah.
Allegation.
Not a conviction.
Not a conviction. Oh, look, and there's another one. Was it only up to 2000? So that was 2014. Like a Wikipedia page. Dating back to the 1870s, or should I say the first one that comes up is the 1890s, but let's come to modern day. What have we got? 2009? Yeah, 2009. National Cabinet Minister Richard Worth resigns after allegations of sexual harassment. 2011, investigation of sexual assault allegations made against Darren Hughes. The then Labour Party Phil Goff had known of allegations for 2 weeks before they became public. 2 weeks? Not 4 years.
That's
2 weeks.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, how long's too long to keep something like that for the public? Like that
2 weeks
could actually
from
2 yeah,
2 weeks was something that
to
was
investigate and sort of go, oh yeah, no, we're cutting you loose, my dude.
Yep. No, I think the 2 weeks is reasonable. A lot of these stories that I've seen, that I've read through, 2 weeks is about the time that the leaders come forward and say, we've done an internal investigation, we've decided to make this decision.
Imagine, say your David Seymour serious allegation comes to you through a Facebook chat, and you talk to the person and you sort of make a judgment there of like, yep, this person sounds credible. Wouldn't you immediately go, okay, you need to take a sabbatical, or you're sick, you need to disappear because you are toxic waste at this point. We'll do a proper investigation, and if you're cleared, you come back. We never mention it. If you did do it, you're fucking dead to me. How dare you do this to me? Sort of thing. Not try and cover it up, which is very clearly is a cover up.
Further to this as well, sexual assault allegations were made. Hughes resigned, and police later determined there was insufficient evidence to launch a prosecution. He still resigned. Allegation. Still resigned.
Because the rumors itself should be toxic enough.
Yep. But you also just don't want anything to do with it, and if it comes to light that you kept him on, even though you knew there was allegations, most people are smart enough to cut them loose. Colin Craig, Conservative Party, resigns as party leader. Leader this time. Allegations of sexual harassment of his former secretary in the messy leadership dispute which follows. Craig is suspended by the party this time because he was the leader. Colin Craig, see above, cited in court during defamation case taken against him relating to sexual harassment allegations. So he ended up going for defamation on that one. Ross, I've read quite a bit about Ross. If you don't remember the National Simon Bridges saga, you can see there's quite a paragraph that explains it. In the end, Jamie Lee Ross, on October 18th, a news report was released with 4 women accusing Ross of incoherent rages, sexual harassment, and bullying behavior. That whole thing blew up through National, so yeah, he was gone. A high-up Labour Party staffer is accused of sexually assaulting a 19-year-old party volunteer. Labour Party President Nigel Horworth resigns amidst this scandal. Scandal, not a conviction. Oh, and these are all just the citations. So there you go. MPs have been removed for less, not convicted. The only thing I will say in this case is a lot of those were MPs under leadership. David Seymour is the leader. And do you think his party would get rid of him?
Absolutely not.
No.
They won't, because he has led ACT to their best results ever. So no sin is bad enough. As long as he keeps winning, as long as he keeps their issues in the forefront of the public space, he has had more wins for ACT than ever before. His supporters love him. They love the little creep. And there is no one there with the stones to roll him. So, yeah, this won't touch him. This won't touch him at all. And that itself is a crime. Do you know what else is a crime, Emily?
Oh, no, I see something there.
Colin Craig.
Oh,
being
that's
sexy.
Right. Oh,
being sexy in a sand
I forgot
dune.
that existed.
While he's doing that photo shoot, this is what I love about this. The time he was doing this photo shoot, he was sexually harassing that woman. He agreed to this photo while writing some of the grossest love poems you can find. And that I use love with huge quotation marks because they are just ick poems. The grossest fucking thing. He's a terrible human being. And yeah, conservatives. What a bunch of creeps. Sorry I inflicted that photo on you.
It took me back to a different time. Took me back to a different
time.
Yeah,
a time before you were reminded about that photo.
I was a kid, and I didn't know shit about politics. The fact that I remember that is saying something.
That photo should have been used as a campaign about, like, stay away from sand dunes. It's where conservatives lurk in blue suits.
Yeah. So it's not like scandals and controversies haven't been part of the political sphere, and people in power have been sacked for lesser, if not allegations. The fact that he was grooming kids on Snapchat would have been enough of an offence if he wasn't the leader to get him sacked, in my opinion. But is that going to happen if you're part of the ACT party? Hell fucking no. Never going to happen.
Look, Bishop had a very similar thing. Talking to teenagers on social media. I think that was Snapchat as well. Like, the fact that a government minister thought using an app whose whole existence revolves around deleting your messages was a good idea. Like, these are political leaders. They're supposed to be smart operators that are good at fucking managing their own ass. And they thought that was a good idea that wouldn't in any way fail on them, come back to haunt them, that sort of thing. I mean, it hasn't haunted Seymour. He fucking laughs it off now. But yeah, when you tie it all together, when you unroll this onion, it's rotten to the core, and people that are minimizing this, that's a reflection on your character more than anything else. Like there's no debate. The guy's convicted now. He's in jail. He did these things. Everybody that's been covering for him and apologizing for him and minimizing his actions, all of that sort of thing. What the fuck? Take a look at yourself. But yeah, David needs to. Oh, when's David's next appearance on Q&A? Never. He'll never agree to go on Q&A because it's what Jack Tame's going to hit him with it again and again and again.
Oh, okay. This is the last thing. I was like, yep, the bishop thing. I didn't actually look into that, but I'd be a little bit interested because that kind of got swept under the rug. Witnesses reportedly said that Bishop was taken aside and asked to stop what he was doing. I wanted to confront him as many parents felt very uncomfortable that their children were being messaged, the mother said. He admitted it straight away and thanked me for bringing it to his attention. And other parents were concerned that Bishop's intentions were anything other than misguided. Could just be a perception thing. He communicated with young people through his account, but after hearing that some parents were unsure about their kids communicating with MPs on social media, he changed his settings so he would only interact with people he knew personally. Not a bad way to respond to that, right? Still a little bit questionable. Not a bad way to respond to that. Compared with Seymour's response. Seymour says he still uses it to reply to serious questions a few times a month and does not see any issue with directly messaging young people without parental permission or oversight. Doesn't
On
see
an
a
app
problem
that can
with it.
conceal your actions. I don't think, personally, that any lawmaker should communicate on any platform that cannot be part of the official information request. Every interaction, like you can request an MP's email conversations, his text conversations. How do you do that for Snapchat? Like, it's just an app that the politicians, lawmakers should not have on their phones. Like it's just bizarre to me that a grown man thinks that that's a good idea. There are other ways to engage with politically interested young people, and that is in a room with other adults, making sure that nothing sus goes on. You know, it's dumb. It's dumb. You're just opening yourself up for this. Yeah, dumb.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Just, I wish I
Oh,
hadn't
okay.
kept
No,
reading.
sorry. Good clarification here. You can't request an MP's communications. You can request a minister's communication. Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough.
Quote, he just came to my school when I was 15. I was in year 10. Someone told Newsroom. I'm not sure for what. It was a long time ago, but some sort of political event that the school had organised. I remember afterwards, everyone was real keen on chatting to him, and he handed out his Snapchat. Mary confirmed that Seymour never initiated conversations with her or friends, but he was very willing to chat when messaged. From what I can recall, he would always respond, and he was happy to engage in things that weren't necessarily political. I thought it was really funny. We all thought it was really quite a good laugh having a politician willing to Snapchat you, the then 15-year-old. Now she has a couple of concerns. The first is the nature of Snapchat, which is a platform that allows for direct private messaging of photos and text between two people. Those messages also disappear after they've been viewed, leaving no lasting record of the correspondence. It's strange given the nature of the app and the fact that we were 3 years off voting. You sort of question why he bothers.
Does this strike you as someone that just wants to be seen as likable? Like too much?
Or relatable, yeah. But the fact that the bishop thing had happened prior and he kind of went much further. At least Bishop was like, the parent literally came to, as far as I understand, the parent came to him and said, I'm not sure about this. And he said, yo, good point. Because technology's
Yeah.
changed, right? Technology has very much changed. We can't blame them for a new technology and not really knowing how to use it and then not, like, we've all been through that. We were like, oh, maybe interacting with a 13-year-old when I'm 20 isn't quite appropriate. Hanging out with an 18-year-old when I'm 30, perhaps not appropriate
Like
because
I
we're
know
in
people
just
that
different situations.
I know of people that coach like children's sports teams, like school age children's sports teams, right? They don't message the children directly. They message the
Mm,
parents for this very reason, to make sure that there is no possible way that they can be accused of something like this. Right. And
yeah.
and I think like if you want to be someone that's communicating, leave Snapchat to your social media teams.
Mm,
Like that's not a serious, like no one's going to reach out to their local MP on Snapchat, are they? About something job related. Like it's just weird. It's just not something that you should do. I think when it comes to talking about stuff that can be IOA'd and that sort of thing, I think if you're an MP and not a minister, you should start acting like you are a minister and just not have that shit on your phone, like on your work phone. Just practice, do now as you mean to go on. But yeah, if like straight away, like these are supposed to be deep thinkers. If I said to you, you're a near 40-year-old man using a social media messaging service that deletes messages to talk to school children, does that sound good when you say it out loud? It fucking doesn't. It doesn't at all. You should have someone vet your phone use. You should have someone next to you. You need a license at that point. Like I think,
yeah.
like based on this, David Seymour should have a fucking button phone with no internet access. It's got one
Yeah.
it's got it's got one phone number in it. It's his fiance. So he can ring her and say, "Your parliament's finished. Can you come and pick me up, please? Thank you." They're mean to me here.
You're pretty,
Yeah,
they won't be
it's
mean to you.
yeah. The more
Yeah,
you think
but
about it, the more icky and dumb it is.
yep, it just yep. And with everything else that's come out, with the young party calling him out for calling out the party for its generally terrible toxic, the MPs themselves that stand behind him calling it out for being a bit toxic and misogynist of a culture in his party, yet he continues to be the leader and the party won't oust him. So
I mean,
at the end of
on
the
its own, the
day,
Snapchat thing is dumb and icky on its own in isolation. When you
mhm,
tie it into the fact that this guy was defending, protecting someone who preyed on young people, it's a little bit more sinister at that point.
even if he
Like
just
you,
didn't
you
see it,
like there's
like I
there's
mean,
tons of examples of powerful people and
mm,
especially powerful people in politics. Oh, here's some alliteration. If alliteration's fun, it's going to take the sting out of what I'm going to say. Powerful people in politics protecting pedophiles.
quite the history of it. Yep. This is all to say, why the fuck is he about to be Deputy Prime Minister? And let's be honest, you can say the same shit about Winston, who's had many a controversy himself, but it just comes back to being quite a toxic culture in Parliament, and seems a bit like an old boys' club.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Still don't want him as
Like
my
where are
deputy.
the people of integrity on the right? Where are the
Yeah,
people of integrity
yeah.
in the ACT party that like if you were like even if you were a political operator, see some blood in the water here. and be the person that stands up and goes, this is not good enough. We're the party of fucking personal responsibility and law and order and that sort of thing. And I will not be part of an organization that shields a pedophile for 4 months, 3 months, 4 months. You know, roll the guy, get him out of there. You know, if you're the prime minister, start kicking ass because he's making your government look even worse than you are in your natural state. It would make you seem like a tough leader that was in control of your coalition partners. Just saying. Just muggins on a podcast for the bottom of the South Island. What do I know?